Today is a national. Now, when there is excessive electrical activity, then patients develop fits. This is an abnormal excessive electrical activity generated in one part of the brain or probably throughout the brain. Now, all of us must have seen in movies how these big fits occur. Many a times we do watch this. We know that patients just suddenly become stiff, the whole body tightens, they just fall down, they have then jerky movements of all four limbs, they will have tongue bite, they may have difficulty in breathing, and the whole patient is not aware of what is happening, he has become unconscious. And this can lead to injuries, and sometimes it can also cause sudden death. Now this fits is a major one which we all know. Following a fit, what happens? The patient develops excessive sleepiness, he may be fatigued, he may be tired, there may be severe body aches, and he may vomit, and he may also have headache. This is called as generalized epilepsy. Now there are different types of child. When studying, he may simply stare and not knowing what's happening. This is called as absence seizures. These occur many times, so the child is not aware of what's happening, and then he will not study well at school because of so many attacks of absence seizures. And there are other attacks which were earlier called as complex partial seizures. Now these are when the patient develops this type of fits, they can have a stare, they can be chewing, they will have some abnormal movements around the face, lips, and they may just blurt out something, they are not aware what's happening, they may fiddle with their clothes, and then they may have excessive fear, they may run, they may hold on to some objects, and after some time, maybe about 30 seconds or so, they come back to their normal state. And then sometimes this can become, they can have these symptoms followed by a generalized attack, that means the patient falls down. And there are simple seizures like suddenly a body may become stiff, there may be jerky movements of one part of the body, or there may be abnormal sensation like tingling or pain in one part of the body, face, and they may have just lip smacking or sometimes twitching of eye movements, twitching of eyelids. So these are all smaller types of fits. They are not small, but to an onlooker they look small. So these are the types of fits, and sometimes they also have abnormal feeling of sensation like they are in a totally a strange place, or the strange place may look familiar to them, they are not aware what is happening, they are not understanding what is happening, and then they may have some abnormal sense of smell, maybe they see some objects like visual and auditory hallucinations. These are all very brief attacks, and then if sometimes they may be followed by a generalized attack. Now why these fits occur? As I told you, it's not a mental disorder. Unfortunately in India, in rural areas, we see that people believe that it is a mental disorder, it's some sort of a madness, and it may be a curse from the God. So this is not so. We should understand. If we don't understand this, then we may not seek treatment. What we see in India is because of one lack of knowledge about fits, and then there are very few neurologists all over India. For 130 crores of population, we have around 2000 neurologists. So what happens is patients don't recognize what problems they have, and they don't get proper treatment. About 20 to 80% of our population with fits may not take treatment. This is a very sad state in India. Now why patients develop fits? Why should one have fits? We know that this is a brain disorder. So whenever there is some of the causes that we see are head injuries. If the patient has had a fall and then followed by a scar, they can have fits. Then if you have infection like tuberculosis, we have something called tapeworm cysticercosis. This tapeworm has gets into the brain, and it has its cysts which can cause fits. And then there are also other infections like you have brain abscess, or there can be some developmental disorder, the brain is not developed properly, or there may be some altered blood glucose, maybe high or low, calcium, very low calcium, sodium high or low can also give rise to fits. Now there are other diseases which can cause fits. One is stroke. We have We know that stroke is a brain attack whenever there is less blood flow to the brain, or there is bleeding in the brain, there is a rupture of blood vessel, there can be bleeding or irritating the brain which can give rise to fits. Then there are brain tumors, that is brain tumors means there are space occupying lesions in the brain which can give rise to fits. Sometimes there are some inherited metabolic disorders of the brain which can give rise to fits. To name a few, these are all some of the things. Also you can have hereditary, that is genetically determined. There is something wrong with your genes and then patient can develop fits. See, about 30 to 40% of them have some causes and about 60% of them may be genetic. We call them as idiopathic. Now it's very important to diagnose fits or recognize fits. Very small children, sometimes they have provoking factors like very high fever, child may develop fits. So with this up to 3 years of age, these children are liable, very prone for febrile convulsions. So when they have this, we need not worry, we need to just take care of temperature, try to do tepid sponging like with lukewarm water, and then seek doctor's advice. Now the next thing is, some of the provoking factors are hot water epilepsy. Some people, they tell when they take head bath in hot water they may develop. One more thing is, when the patient, for example, when the patient has a major fit, he falls down, many a times we see in rural areas people start feeding them with something, or they may put some things like spoon in the mouth, or they may give key to their hands. Sometimes we have even come across people showing chappal to their mouth, nose, and then they try to blow air. And then branding is where they give some burns to the patient thinking that it is a disease which can be cured. So because the fits last only for 30 seconds to 1 minute, many people think that whatever they have done at that time would have helped them. This is a wrong notion, and this is a myth and it is not truth. So when the patient has a fit, we should try to just see to that they are in a safe place. We loosen their clothes. If there is any froth in the mouth, we may just wipe it with a cloth, not try to feed anything at that time or hold them tightly, because they have enormous strength, and then that can give rise to a lot of injuries to the patient. If you try to feed, or if you try to put your hand in the finger in the mouth, or if you try to give a key, it may not be sensible to do that, and it can be risky to the patient. Now what do? We have understood why we develop fits. Then what should we do? We should see the neurologist or a doctor. Like an ECG, there is something called EEG, where electrical activity of the brain can be recorded, which will tell us from where the fits is, from where the abnormal current is coming. So that is one type of investigation that people may get. Second thing is, scanning of the brain will help us to know whether there is a tumor in the brain, or some infection is in the brain, or some abnormal. Patients who consume alcohol regularly on a regular basis can develop fits. So what we say is, it's better to abstain from alcohol, and then avoid starving, fasting, and take regular. Important is taking the medicine regularly and getting investigated. Treatment is relatively straightforward. It's a treatable disease. We all should take care of this problem very eminently. Thank you.